For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch. Avengers Endgame is fast upon us, but the anticipation for the next Marvel event has reached new levels of hype. Tickets for the highly anticipated follow-up to last year's Infinity War finally went on pre-sale last week, which pretty much ended up breaking the internet. Fans were met with long wait times and server crashes while attempting to get their tickets for the film, which eventually broke the previous record for the most pre-sale in a 24-hour period. The demand is so high that fans are flipping their tickets on eBay for upwards of $2 a pop. So yes, it is safe to say that people are freaking the fuck out. But what we're really here today to unpack are the odds, long and short, of your favorite heroes not only getting fully resurrected, but to look at their chances of making it out of Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in one piece at all. First up, Black Widow. Having survived the Thanos snap, Black Widow has a score to settle with the big bad, as we've seen her brooding in nearly every shred of new footage. Not exactly sure what 9mm bullets are going to do against a god, but Black Widow has been around since Iron Man 2, which was almost a decade ago. It makes sense if Marvel decided to retire the former spy, but unlike other original members of the Avengers, Black Widow has an official standalone movie in development. Unless Marvel is planning a Russian spy prequel, Natasha Romanoff is likely safe to move into Phase 4 of the MCU. Thor, also looking sullen in every bit of footage we've gotten our hands on, single-handedly went toe-to-toe with Thanos before missing the kill shot, only to survive the finger snap heard around the galaxy. With Thor, he's been around a long time as well, and you have to consider that he's living on borrowed time, even with the success of Ragnarok. Chris Hemsworth confirmed Endgame is the end of his current Marvel contract, but again, thanks to Ragnarok, has expressed interest in doing a fourth Thor standalone movie if he can work with director Taika Waititi again. Thor's odds of survival are better than most of the original Avenger lineups. Bucky Barnes, aka Winter Soldier, aka White Wolf, was on screen for all of about 5 minutes before being snapped out of existence. Vegas odds are Barnes gets resurrected and waltzes his ass over to Disney's Plus streaming service alongside Anthony Mackie's Falcon. Sebastian Stan inked a 9-picture contract with Marvel, so Bucky Barnes isn't going anywhere. Plus, Bucky is also the ideal candidate to take up the Captain America mantle for a simple reason. It's exactly what happens in the comics. Barnes and the Falcon are both coming back so they can make their show and star in a few more Avengers movies. Mutants have had a rough go of it lately on the big screen. The last few X-Men movies were painful to watch, and the Scarlet Witch not only lost her brother in the MCU, but also murdered her android boyfriend by destroying the Mind Stone that gave him life, only to have Thanos use the Time Stone to turn back time, revive Vision, and then rip the Mind Stone from his head and kill him a second time. Then she, also died. Like I said, grim shake for mutants, but Elizabeth Olsen is reportedly going to star in a Scarlet Witch miniseries for Disney's upcoming streaming service, and the series would have a hard time launching if its main character stayed dead. Captain Marvel. In Nick Fury's final moments before being dusted, he sends a distress call to Captain Marvel, her first in-universe mention. Her odds of showing up and mopping the floor with Thanos are through the f***ing roof. Captain Marvel just broke the $1 billion mark worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing film with a female lead ever. Brie Larson's Carol Danvers isn't going anywhere. She survived the snap, and she's going to survive Endgame. Hawkeye. Without a single appearance in Infinity War, Clint Barton spent the movie off-screen with his family. Unfortunately, it's implied that Hawkeye then lost his family thanks to the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Now he's angry, and he's got this super cool mohawk to show for it. Hawkeye's strength has always been his everyman appeal. He's a guy running around with a bow and arrow alongside literal gods, but he's definitely surviving Endgame. You're not going to give the one guy who's got a family a story beat about becoming a morally ambiguous assassin in Japan without reuniting him with his family resurrected. Ant-Man. While Ant-Man never showed up in Infinity War, last summer's Ant-Man and Wasp ended with his trip to the Quantum Realm when Thanos snapped. But we know Scott Lang survived since Endgame trailers reveal that he somehow makes it back to Earth. While the Ant-Man movies aren't billion-dollar tentpoles, fans and critics love Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly all the same. It wouldn't make sense to kill off your one reliable sense of comic relief. Ant-Man surviving Endgame is all but guaranteed, especially if all those time travel rumors continue to persist and seem at least one way to counter Thanos' rapture via Lang's knowledge of the quantum realm. Loki. Sure, he was choked to death in the first 5 minutes of Infinity War with Thanos specifically saying, quote, "No resurrections this time." But come on, he's the god of mischief. Considering he got off the old-fashioned way pre-snap, he could be gone for good, but Tom Hiddleston is also heading to Disney Plus for his own Loki series. And unless that's all going to be a prequel, maybe Loki did have one more trick up his sleeve. Wong. He survives the snap thanks to Disney's character posters, but Wong is a D-lister at best. Future Doctor Strange movies are going to need a sidekick, and Wong surviving Endgame is another sure bet. Okoye. With Shuri and T'Challa dusted, Okoye and M'Baku are the last remaining Wakandans to protect the country. She watched her king evaporate right in front of her, so she's itching for some revenge. Plus, the Black Panther franchise is literally just getting started, and Okoye was a breakout character. Danai Gurira will be a part of the MCU well into Phase 4, guaranteed. Vision. Everyone's favorite android had a real shitty run in Infinity War, but Vision's resurrection is another safe bet. Can he exist without the Mind Stone? Maybe. But Paul Bettany is yet another actor heading over to Disney Plus to co-star alongside the Scarlet Witch in her own series. Again, as long as this isn't a prequel, Vision is coming back, Mind Stone or not. Shuri. While we don't know what became of Shuri after the snap, the first Endgame trailer, as well as those grim character posters, revealed that she did not make it. But like the entire cast of Black Panther, Shuri is a fan favorite. Aside from being T'Challa's little sister, Shuri is perhaps the greatest technological mind on the planet. She is coming back for many more sequels and will 1000% get that resurrection. Falcon was among the Thanos snap bodies to vanish, but if he's going to make a Disney Plus series with Bucky Barnes, Falcon is coming back, and if their comics are anything to use as a guidebook, Sam Wilson also took a turn as Captain America, which we would very much like to see at some point on screen. Jesus, there are a lot of dead superheroes to get through. The Guardians of the Galaxy post-Infinity War status is everyone is dead except for Rocket Raccoon. The future of the Guardians franchise was hanging in the air after Marvel fired James Gunn last year while he was working on the script for the third film. It was a shit show at the time, but Gunn is back in the saddle, picking up where he left off. Dave Bautista threatened to walk before Marvel welcomed Gunn back, and a third Guardians movie is on the way. Considering a sequel would be pretty hard to pull off without a cast, the Guardians are coming back, but if I were to wager it, I think Nebula also becomes a permanent member of the team. She's been front and center in every Endgame trailer, and it is going back to help Tony to get back to Earth. Karen Gillan has discussed the Guardians 3 with the impression that she will be involved with the film, effectively becoming a new member of the intergalactic crew. Nebula will have an important part to play in the fight against Thanos, mostly because he tortured her for God knows how long to get the location of the Soul Stone out of Gamora. Gamora's death was Thanos' biggest regret, but if he's got the chance to bring her back, smart money is that he will take it. Spider-Man's death was particularly brutal to watch, especially for Tony Stark. He got snapped out of existence on Thanos' homeworld Titan, and he didn't feel good, but there's a 0% chance that Tom Holland's Peter Parker stays dead. Complicating matters for Endgame and Spider-Man's death scene is the fact that Spider-Man Far From Home arrives this summer. The European vacation-bound Parker had the date of his passport blurred out, leaving open the very slim possibility that the film takes place before Infinity War. But that's not even close to what's gonna go down. We all know that. Largely because Disney loves money. And Tom Holland is perfect as Peter Parker. We'll be seeing a lot more of him in Phase 4. War Machine. If you count Terrence Howard, and we all should, James Rhodes has been in the MCU from day one since the first Iron Man movie in 2008. That is a lot of war machining, which could spell curtains for the character. He's a B-lister who can hold his own in a fight, but will always remain a sidekick. Sorry, truth hurts. Don Cheadle is also a hugely accomplished actor, and killing off War Machine would be a low-risk way to motivate Tony and the rest of the Avengers. Calling it now, high chance War Machine will not be making it to the closing credits. Bruce Banner making it to the close of Endgame comes in at a strong 50-50. Every Hulk standalone movie with previous actors has been a complete dud. But Mark Ruffalo has done a fantastic job humanizing the Hulk and having a little fun with the character along the way. Endgame would be a perfect place to close Banner's story, but Marvel has been more than willing to plug Banner in as a sidekick for other films a la Ragnarok. And there's also the Black Widow romance subplot to tie up. What would be ideal would be to shoot Hulk into space and rework the fantastic Planet Hulk storyline Ragnarok borrowed so heavily from. Future remains uncertain. Black Panther got murked in his home of Wakanda, but let's keep it 1,000 here. He is coming back, and Black Panther 2 is going to be fantastic. 0% chance he dies. Doctor Strange got smoked by Thanos just before telling Tony Stark that it was the only way to stop Thanos after going through millions of probabilities thanks to the Time Stone. But he's going to be coming back in Endgame to get his necklace back. Plus, a Doctor Strange sequel has been quietly finalized for the next phase of the MCU, and permanently killing off one of the more famous actors in the series just isn't gonna happen. Nick Fury already made an appearance in the trailer for Far From Home, and Sam Jackson has gone on record saying he'd be happy to play Fury well into his 80s. He's the glue holding this whole thing together and has made more appearances in the MCU than anyone. Smart money is Fury finding a way to show up in the next Black Panther. Now I know what you're thinking. Iron Man is definitely gonna die in Endgame. And to be honest, I thought the same thing. He's trapped in space, he got stabbed in the guts, he had a teenager superhero turn to dust in his arms. But the one thing the trailers keep harping on is Tony's desire to get home to Pepper Potts. Stark could continue to make appearances in the MCU in the same vein as Nick Fury, but the big money is on Stark getting to live happily ever after, leaving the big hero's sacrifice to, that's right, Captain America. It is all but guaranteed that Steve Rogers dies tragically and heroically, saving the Avengers at the same time. Chris Evans has made it clear for years that he's looking forward to moving on from Captain America at the end of his Marvel contract. Endgame is the end of that contract. Cap's gonna come full circle and trade his life for his friends the same way he did right before he was frozen for the better part of a century. If there's a single Marvel character who's teed up for a tearjerker exit, it is Captain America. That's all for now. Let us know who you think's not gonna make the cut to Phase 4. For everything else, subscribe to Complex on YouTube. For Complex News, I'm Hanuman Welch.